Will C says 199, hate to say it, this all started when you cheated. April and I had problems before, but it was like marriage problems. And that was kind of a big problem too, was that I'd been married before, she hadn't. So like when things would happen that were marriage things, like disagreements, arguments, whatever, she would treat them like, oh my God, the world is ending. It's terrible, blah, blah, blah. And I would be like, can we just both admit we fucked up a little on this one and, move on from it? And then when we wouldn't, I would get mad and then it would be a giant fight. And then I found out she was like texting listeners and like other people I know. And she would be like, we just had a big fight. And she would tell them that we just had a fight. Like we just had an argument. And I'm like, that's weird behavior. I got a phone call from somebody yesterday. I don't know if he'd appreciate it if I said his name. But he's like, yeah, you guys had an argument. He goes, and I told her that it was dudes too. It was always dudes. And she would go, and he goes, you know that married people have arguments. He goes, and she goes, yeah, but he yelled. And he goes, you know that my wife and I fight and we yell, like it's a thing. It's something that happens. And he's like, it was just really weird. But I don't want to get too much into that. It's just saying, I hate to say it, this all started when you cheated. The Ricada thing was, I think both of us subconsciously recognizing we didn't want each other anymore. Because if you really love someone and you want someone, you can't even think of being with someone else. And the fact that I just jumped into bed with somebody else, I mean, says a lot about me, unfortunately. I think Geno genuinely wants to be friends with you, but he's so whipped and thinks if he loses Kiki, that's it for him. He's pretty cowardly. You know what's funny? If that was true, this is what really does kind of hurt. And I might cry like a bitch here. This is what really hurts about the Keanu and Geno thing. Is that if that were ever to happen, this is how much I loved that guy. If that would have ever happened where Geno was like, no, I don't just believe this bullshit from, again, remember Geno, someone who was caught in a house with drugs, children, as he is so fond of saying. And if he would have if getting my back or even just not shitting all over me would have cost him his relationship and that put him on his ass financially or caused a serious problem, I'd fly his ass out here and he could stay in a spare bedroom until he figured shit out. That's how much I loved the guy. I mean, I don't know if my liver would have been able to handle it. We probably would have hung out and drank and golfed a lot. But, I mean, I would have had him on here and I would have tried to, give him what I could. Let him save up, get back. Like, if that scenario would have ever happened, like, again, I don't think there was anyone more ride or die than I was. And if that's not enough to convince you that maybe someone else is lying and not me, then there's not much I can do, Blitz League says, Sector Aaron, in simplest terms, a diffused network of interests has converged to promote and preserve steel toe and vanquish your foes. You just can't control it, though. I mean, it is nice that you can look at the people who don't like me, make a character judgment, and when it's me on one side and it's Ethan and people backstabbing and shit like that and people who got arrested and kids taken away and all that on the other side, it's like I'm working on trying to be a noble person. I don't think I'm there yet, but it's easy to look like the noble person when that's who's standing against you. Kiff with 199. This might be the best super chat of the day. April can turn state's evidence on illegal lottery. You know what, right? Kiff, you're right. You're right. Don't worry, I'm not going to do anything crazy or culty like keep her on my property so she can't say anything against me. Citizen M says, it's depressing because I want to hate Geno and Kiki, but if April lied to them, April lied. What are they to do? Convoluted mess. Well, I mean, let me ask you this, Citizen M. Just because I got lied to by addicts about stuff, like they would do drugs right in front of me and I would confront them on having a problem and they would say they don't do drugs. Like they would say that right in front of me. If they tell me that and I know better, do I get off the hook because I was quote unquote lied to? No, I still gotta use my brains. Kif with 199 says, do acronyms really violate order? I don't know what acronyms means. The Bad Luck Boys with $5 says, I made $500 by not harassing my audience. Stop headbutting women. I mean, I don't, but thank you. Is that the real Bad Luck Boys? Is that Mersh? Oh, after I just said nice things about Mersh today. Oh, man. Let's go to channel. Yep. Whopping 3,000 subscribers. That's the real deal. Wow, I just said really nice things about Mersh. Oh, well. Congratulations on your $500, by the way. Enjoy some coleslaw.